Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back to Islands of Insight. So, we have a Tower of Insight here in the middle of the area. In the middle of the third region, which there is clearly going to be a point here where we have to connect all dark cells. We don't have to connect all white cells. So yeah, I'm testing out some new settings on my computer, and last stream worked fine, and then when my double check program that launches the video launched, it started to play the audio twice and caused my computer to crash, as far as I can tell, which that is kind of a wild outcome. Okay, so this is putting me in a weird position where those can all work and this can come down here, but then that makes that pattern. And then that makes that pattern. So, and see, there's just like this whole rotation issue that comes about. We have to connect all the dark cells. So we can fix that one by doing that. We can fix that one by doing that. Then that makes this pattern. And you have to kind of start there. So you have to get rid of that, I guess. Snake pattern, apparently, in sight. Yeah, you wouldn't think your computer would crash, though, just by playing audio. Right, so this actually has to be white, or playing audio twice, but I guess inherently you are potentially making an infinite loop there. But I would generally have assumed computers were strong enough to not run into a problem. If that isn't the problem, then there is some other problem. And if there is some other problem, I'm gonna have to research that more. But also, I can't sit around just assuming that there's an issue, and as such. So apparently I got this whole region update when holding down control. They'll tell you each of the regions. I probably will never use that, if I was to guess. Okay. Guess this is making progress. Some bit of progress. Maybe. Well, that does potentially fill in everything except for the fact that gotta figure out a way to have this middle sections. Like you can curve around there, certainly, but then that would have to go away. So yeah, my instinct definitely says it should be something like this. And then I probably should just get rid of things I'm not 100% certain about. And then just use a foresight. Wow. Okay. If that is wrong, then that potentially changes a lot. But see, honestly, that doesn't feel like it changes much there. So then my instinct would be that do something closer to that. This is wrong also. Wow. But you kind of can't do that. What in the heck is going on here? That is wrong. A 2 is not helping me any. They said this was wrong and this was wrong. Which means that I would have to put one here and here. Which it kind of only makes sense to put one there. And then I guess I could maybe zigzag my way down this way. And then maybe go that way. Connecting all the dark cells here would seem like it might be as easy as just doing that. And in this case, there's just some smaller limitations. That are going to just push everything back. Interesting. It always feels like the last one of these Tower of Insight puzzles are some different trick. We have a rare luminous quest today, which wants us to do a lot of things. The glitch has once again happened, so seems like every time you load in with perhaps with a rare luminous quest, you get stuck into this negative amount. So the game is effectively screwing me, and I'd be more upset about that if it weren't for the fact that the sparks themselves just don't really matter. Seems like almost certainly there's only one of two places that sky drop would work on. See, and I'm in the end of this area. I'm on this island in the middle of an area. You think maybe this might be a way. See if we can find this green matchbox anywhere. We could chase flow orbs if we wanted to, but I don't think we will. Generally speaking, I just don't think any of this is going to matter as far as the overworld until we're certain that we're actually going to end up doing everything in an area. Yeah. There's a whole trial over here. Yeah. Hidden objects may be the one small exception. The goal, where are we? I don't even see myself marked on the map, is to go here and just awaken the next area. We are here in blue. Yeah. We definitely are going to hit a point though where the mastery and the upgrades aren't going to, like, sparks aren't going to give you any extra abilities. We know some of the extra abilities we've unlocked so far are definitely going to be helpful. For instance, I now supposedly fly 20% faster when I'm gliding. That alone would solve some of the chase sequences. And we have now left the Asian kinda asset flipped architecture of that area, and now we have a more Indian kinda asset flipped art style, which Egyptians, Asian, Japanese, or Chinese pagodas, and then Indian are all technically part of Asia. The broader definition of Asia that people in the United States in particular don't really think of it that way. Yeah, here's a great reason why we shouldn't be wandering around the overworld yet, is that we'll run across puzzles that are just going to be locked. And that's no coincidence. Clearly, at the very least, the assets that these were bought from are from heavily influenced, heavily targeting Asian communities. But I also wouldn't be surprised if not the first-party developer of this game, at least a lot of the third-party developers that I suspect probably exist were Asian influenced. You really don't have a better explanation as to why this would have an MMO, short of that just being the default way in which a lot of games are made in Asia. So you reach the place you awaken, it land, you get this little animation that fills in your map, and that's kind of it. It says travel to the vanishing point. Could go here, we could go here. Travel to the Citadel of Pearls. Yeah. Cloud of Pearls. Yeah, that's where they want me to go. There's a decent chance that the vanishing point may not be an enclave, but it might be. But I also think there's a decent chance that we'll have to do the all-seeing monoliths after we do all the enclaves. A universe without energy is like a hearth with no flame. The known realm is old, so is the energy within it. Perhaps new energy is needed to create new life. However, this energy flowing through the sky, where is it coming from? I still would lean into this idea that this is some kind of virtual reality. Virtual prison might be the wrong term. I've suggested that as a possibility before, but you know, this could just be storyline. The big twist, if there is going to be a big twist, is that it is an AI testing ground and that we are playing as a character that is supposed to be an artificial intelligence, although inherently the last thing a human would want is an artificial intelligence that could solve video game puzzles. Computers are already pretty good at that. We would want things to solve things in a more artistic and creative way, where these puzzles themselves are typically pretty straightforward, particularly for computers. Wow. That one locked in at a fairly difficult angle. And I don't see any other way you would have gotten that ring. So that does imply to me that more and more we will use the long jump feature, which is really underused. Yeah, I think we will end up using it more to reach invisible rings. I'm trying to see if maybe there's a tree that has some of this perspective puzzle. Yeah, getting the angle right on this. Yeah, it's gonna be too much work. One of the things new games like this are doing, which at a certain point I think it is just trying to push graphics. With the Unreal Engine itself is pushing what it can do, and game developers are embracing those new features without really considering potential compatibility with even slightly older games. And the shiny circles elements of these sky drops are kind of a great example of that, where if these were fake reflection mapped instead of probably ray traced, they'd run a little smoother. And a lot of new games are doing that, just a lot of reflection surfaces. In fairness, it's taken them almost the entirety of the history of video games to get water to even begin to start to look correct, where you can see partially through it and still see partial reflections around it. Yeah, up until this point it has been very much just faked water that looks very obvious. But at a certain point also, gamers weren't complaining either. If anything, we didn't know what we were missing, so we thought the water in slightly older games looked fine. Interesting how the shield took its time to be dissolved there. Which, I suppose that is probably the cinematic thing that should happen always, is that it shouldn't be just on a timer, it should be as you approach. So 15 sky drops, morphic fractals, 2 flow orbs. Goddess, are you thinking of crossing the fracture? When I crossed into your realm, a part of me ceased to exist. If you enter the unknown realm, would the same thing not happen to you? In all the depths of time, I am tired. The ends have grown heavy. I miss the sunrise of discovery. Tell me, dear Oakley, have you remembered what it is on the other side? So it seems like the Auroral wants to go through the fracture, the goddess of this world. It does bring about an interesting moral question. Is it morally... If we were to say the goddess is effectively a parent that gave birth to the Seekers, the children, me, as a character, is it moral to bring a child into your world if your intention is that you're just going to die, which is assumedly what you have to assume is going to take place if the Auroral did enter the fracture. At the very least, you're going to leave them. So you're abandoning your child. So yeah, I would say generally speaking that doesn't seem very moral. This is weird. Like, none of it seems right. This does feel like this is one of those where you might have to flip the whole thing around and go past a point, but that's not working. That looks very close. That looks better. Shouldn't go too far. The fluid sound effects here. A little extra. I'm not really feeling like they're needed. Yeah. And if you found the fluid fractal puzzles difficult, this would be an enclave that would be a kiss of death to you, certainly. Although, they're giving you decent chances here. 5 out of... Should just be marking these at this point. Let's just mark all greens. Since greens always seem like they're a little less common. Let's see. It probably doesn't make any sense to do. One of these when we haven't even really seen the whole land. Yeah. Just go ahead and cancel that. Increasingly, I don't feel like I'm getting anywhere close to the solutions, and it's still counting it. Like, the hints are not, I think, one-to-one depictions of what's going on. That's a little pitchfork trident symbol. That's a different symbol. That's a different symbol. There's a whole puzzle up there. Interesting. So we really may have hit a weird level here where we're gonna have to jump all around. And that's just doing the outside of this area. There seems also like there's going to be more of an inside area too. So what we need here is more of a central to get to that. it's not too far away from it. Still not really getting this section here. Finally found this section. There is an element here that's gonna make this all twist. What I could be doing that's wrong here, though, is could be assuming that this blob here is the right blob, and there could be another blob. Much bigger blobs. Now, I'm probably making a bit of an assumption here that's wrong, in that I'm assuming the movements are up, down, left, right, and there might very well just be some kind of diagonal. Doesn't feel like a spin would change much. It would just be combinations of up, down, left, right. Trying to see if maybe the blue here, we could get a similar angle to the blue. Yeah, you just get lucky, or the game gets tired and eventually snaps to what it is. So, saying it's doing sky drop puzzles, I'm not seeing a single sky drop in. Solve at least 15 sky drops in the sky drop speed challenge. Maybe something triggers the sky drops. Okay. So I'm gonna have to rotate this. Kind of close there. still feels really wrong though. In this case, definitely feels like things are just popping up. Well, that's a pretty picture. It almost does come off like there is more of a just random assortment of it kind of just feels like a random assortment of different images. More than actual fractal math being modified. But, I mean, I have no idea. It's also very believable that this is totally actual fractal math being modified. But then there are just other numbers and metrics to it. Inherently, I'm not seeing much of a curve at all. So if there is a curve to this, and see, it's kind of starting you here, which definitely makes me wonder if you aren't extremely close. And sometimes they just start changing their appearance way too much as far as the colors changing. I'd want to think that when the colors start to line up, that you are close. I'd want to think that. Let's just skip that for now. Okay. I saw red brick here that does line up to that one. So we'll take that off. There's gonna be a lot of these. confused though, as I think I've figured this out. Just make this a little bit skinnier. Make those a little bit smaller. Definitely feels like we are not too far away. Of course, this is one of those situations where I feel like it probably should have snapped in by now, but the game is being stubborn. Complete 2 flow orbs. Here you can see the shield on that. They're, I think, going out of their way to make people recognize that it is shielded. And that was a super easy one. Just had to move upward to solve that one. I didn't even go left or right. Inherently, if we are going to do the flow orbs, we need to know, generally speaking, where they are. I like to think, in this case, this might be just running. So that gives us a gold. Now, we did that in 13.74. If there is some kind of Grandmaster challenge around that, we haven't unlocked that. And that is one thing that being screwed over and being in the negative is going to hurt me. Ideally, I want like 6,000 points or 800 points to buy this. I need to buy any upgrade I can get quickly. But yeah, at level 30, you unlock the Flow Orbs Grandmaster times, which then you potentially could just run around the entire game. You could run around the entire world doing the flow challenges again in the hopes of getting sparks, although I'm not sure in the long run what sparks are even going to be worth anything, because I I believe, just off the top of my head without any real evidence, that a lot of MMO-like games get abandoned fairly quickly. I definitely would have suspected putting the single-player mode in this is perhaps a small bit of an admission of defeat in the aspirations of this being an MMO. And so, to potentially make it a game as a service might be actually asking more than they really are capable of doing. So, in that, we may never see a single bit of content added as far as So, did I just solve a Grandmaster time trial even though that hasn't been unlocked? I don't know. Or did I just go in some kind of order that was optimized? Because that definitely just felt like that was the right thing to do. Now remember, I have the plus 20% speed when flying, so it's pretty much to be expected that I will be able to do any flow orbs if I am flying. The question, I guess, would come down to, should I do something like that if instead of running now to do flow orbs? I guess we're just shooting ourselves up high in the air. Yep. That's probably the last one you want to hit. Yeah, but they're all kind of in the corners. So... yeah, you're gonna have this kind of arbitrary speed increase. Problem here is I think you're gonna have to... Yep. I think you're gonna have to hold down the run button on those. The Unknown Realm is a place so twisted upon itself that there are worlds within worlds, all the way down. Goddess, you could spend an eternity there and yet still have seen none of it. It would be worthwhile if I could glimpse a new world, even if only for a moment. Then my own regret, dear Goddess, is that I have any memories at all. So Obolita first is telling the Goddess Aurora not to go. Now we did see a mystery as far as the world within worlds, so that may be just a text reference to the phrase world within worlds. That may be the only time we see that happen. This is going to be all over the place. This is going to be one of those that we've got to get the spirals in the right direction first. And then we got to get the sizes correct. tighten up the spirals. And then just slowly adjust everything. You would think that the colors mean something more, but I don't think they really do. See, these dots have gotten way too small. Much bigger. Then how can these dots be so big and then this be so thin? Gotta do something like that. Okay. That's the wrong one. And I can't hit that one. I think I just lost one. So where does that one go? I don't know. There, okay. I still think move is probably get up high. They really do have all these visual angles accounted for in most of this. See, I just don't know if I'm supposed to go to this tiny little island. Seems like there might be some kind of elephant statue or something over there. That is an interesting question certainly to ask too, is now that I can fly 20% faster, does that mean I can glide 20% further? Although in fairness, I could kind of think I might be able to glide at least halfway across the whole map, even before I had the 20% upgrade. If there is even a small bit of space that's being lost, if you're slowly going downward, it's not a significant curve. And yeah, this is still being counted as Cloud of Pearls. And yeah, that's not an elephant, it's just one of a much smaller version. Those floating rocks. Which, why are they so shiny? So apparently that was a mystery. And so we have solved our first mystery without even getting that hint. That we were supposed to stand here, and when we looked here, that was going to create a ring. And so now they will be shiny forever. A golden shiny. This to them. Intriguing. Solve at least 15 sky drops in the sky drop speed challenge. Where the heck is that? I guess this is already clicked on that one. Okay, so we want to get the center up into the right place. Start with, and then we want to get the size of the hole of the center in the right level, practically non-existent. There we go. See how this works. This one. I think it's supposed to line up somewhere over here. That was a guess. Which one of these? It's a really dark image. Let's see. That doesn't seem right. Although it seems right. I think it's way up here. So let's put that down for a second. Let's just hit where this is really gonna go. Is we're gonna end up having to, I think, work our way down to these platforms and then work our way around. This is actually likely going to be very easy, just moving to the left all the way, and then moving up. I think maybe all we need to do this little spot here. direction. This might be a lot more difficult than it seemed, than I thought it was going to be, because this may just be that there's a lot of scenarios that give you a bright pink middle, and there's only one right way to get these loops on the edge. Do want those loops. Just want them to be less pronounced and kind of in the other direction. Yeah, I kind of am assuming that this, so you can't bring this up and overlay it. You know, I'm kind of assuming that this is more zoomed in, so the outer edge here is being depicted differently. So if we go all the way up here, it's not too bad. A little up and to the left. Yeah. Now as far as this goes, yeah, that doesn't feel like that is right either. You couldn't jump up too high. You can, I guess, grab a ledge here and there. There's a lot of medallions here where if the game were to unlock even more puzzles, that would be concerning. And so I assume you're just kind of floating here. So you start this way and it looks almost perfect, except for the fact that the curves are all off. So just moving to the left, I think, should solve this. If not moving to the left, then moving to the right. Moving to the left didn't do it, so it must be moving to the right. Interesting, so it must be moving up and down. Must be a little bit of everything, isn't it? So let's try and get the curves right. I guess I technically got that. Doesn't really feel like I got it. So. There's a whole central area here. Alright, and so to do that whole racing stuff. Wait, you can't go in this central area. One of these two areas. I think I need to be up there. Okay. There we had just an abrupt frame stutter. Where does the frame stuttering come from is a great question. Is it the fact that you have these ridiculous effects enabled? Yeah. I kind of suspect it might be. That in your customization, the fact that you have to have some kind of wings. The fact that you have to have some kind of trails. And you have all this custom textures. Almost certainly leaves you with less room for optimization compared to having just one character, one texture for one character, one outfit for one character. Okay. Not the same symbol. There possibly a green cube in this area? Well, that's the thing, is that there is that possibility. So there's nothing on these sides. Up here in one of these there could be something, or this angle could reveal something. These stopped glowing gold. That shot me way up. Sky drop solved. Okay, so you stand on this and that starts the sky drop solves, okay. So the sky drops are going to come here. And so that's where we're going. So they're all going to be around here. I think that probably means also that we should just go into the entrance, because I think they're all over here. Yeah. This was the trick. Let's find a whole bunch of sky drops. These aren't going to be permanent ones. And I suspect most of these are going to be inside out ones. Is this a case where they'll be in the same spot multiple times? But yeah, we're halfway through when I found that first one, so I think it makes a lot of sense to go ahead and assume these do all look like they are different. So I may very well have to heavily rely on the glow if I really don't know how to do 15 of these. Inherently, I've never been under a timer to do sky drops before. I guess I probably shouldn't look at big messes of balls. That's almost certainly not going to lead to a connection. I do suspect that there is only so many of these, and so if we got a good handle on where a lot of them were, oh, you have like 900 seconds. I misread that completely. That gives you a much more reasonable amount of time in my book. Although I still feel like even with a massive 900 seconds, there will be some players that are going to feel like they can't really handle that, because these have always been the falling action, more relaxing experience. So before. And I'm not seeing chromatic or combos unlock as a thing. Which that has to be some consideration, at least, as what's the point of getting those extra bonus abilities if when you really need them they don't activate. There's a lot of rooms still here that distract yourself too. And you don't really have time to keep a count yourself. So couldn't really tell you if I've solved 7 or 10 or only 4 or 5. It does probably make some sense to try and eliminate as many of the sky drops that happen to be next to each other, because that will certainly make it easier to figure out what group of orbs belongs to what group. It looks like there's several here. One of them looks like you have to get a fairly high angle. Some of these, if the orbs are going to be included, would have to be a fairly high angle too. Those have to go there. So one would assume that the Mariblis that I just connected means I did 15. Okay. No reason to really stop. However, so I'm not going to say I inherently hate the idea of having a Skydrop challenge, but it does say something that it was really easy for me to not see that the Skydrop challenge had a start pad and not know that there was such a thing as a start pad. And like the rings in the previous episode, it is kind of easy here to not quite line up everything perfectly. And I don't think crouching down would ever actually be a factor. Certain level, we're running out of orbs. kind of have plenty of time, so we may just do everything. That may just be it, is that if you're good enough, you can do everything. So it's giving me sparks, one would assume, either at the beginning or the end of this. I think we can fairly assume we're not supposed to leave this inner area. Because I really am not seeing any orbs. Outside the rings. Now we kind of a nice amount of time, and from the looks of it, 2, maybe 3 remaining of these to find. There's only so many angles which something like this can actually line up. Unless we're supposed to go way to the top and look downward. Hmm. 600 seconds and almost none left. It looks to me like there's one possible ring left, and the question is, how do we get that angle? And it just stopped at that point. So yeah, it's straight up telling me that there was no more to do. Let's see. I need to solve 3 more interactive puzzles as far as my main rare luminous quest goes. Is this the right angle? Feels like this is the right angle. I'm not sure it really is. To get that to line up, I would have to be somewhere closer to this. Nope, didn't mean to hit that. Let's go over to this other side. Yeah, the shield on that seems to be shimmering a lot stronger. And it looks like there's a sky drop, but I'm not sure you can actually do the sky drop. Let's see, that doesn't seem like that would be correct. And that one doesn't seem like that one would be correct. Yeah, I don't think we're going to hit a point where the sightseeing images are going to be flipped in reverse. So it does definitely seem like it's a what you see is what you get type scenario. And it does seem like the colors likely are going to match. That's wrong. If I'm going to do this flow orb one. Back to the flow orbs. We need to start here. Where's the last one? Complete all 6 flow orbs. So we know there's only 6 flow orbs, so that does put us in a nice position. So what I want to do, I guess, is look for purple flowers and a river-like appearance. Which I kind of see purple flowers, but I don't see a water-like appearance. And that does concern me a little bit, that you might have a whole sightseeing trick here where pictures are taken at a different time, say hundreds of years in the past, and then things would just not line up. Fortunately, that's not the case here. I was just looking in the wrong place. So, I guess here you would have had to have done it a lot better. And I imagine doing it a second or third time you could do it a lot better to get gold. I guess the question is really going to come down to whether the game is really going to force the player to get gold, or if this isn't just going to be a suggested thing. Let's try this. This inherently, I think, was also the problem when Cyan, the creators of Myst, tried to do a similar thing. Walking right past this, forgetting that I stopped working on this one. They tried to make an MMO based on puzzles, and yeah, I just don't see in the long run how you maintain a healthy experience. Although in fairness, I don't see how even things like World of Warcraft have maintained healthy experiences to the level that they have, other than a general assumption that once people get kind of obsessed with things, and once they get their friends to play with them, they kind of lock into it and they just play that same game over and over again because they know all their friends have that game and are willing to play it to some extent. Whereas I certainly come from video games from a much lonelier perspective of wanting to solo things and not really wanting to play with people. But even I can't deny that the idea of being sociable while gaming has opened up the concept of gaming to a lot larger of an audience, where previously there was a much larger split between video gamers and everybody who would have gone out on a Friday night and hung out at parties or gone to movies and things like that. But that split is kind of non-existent nowadays. And this is something that was definitely echoed even with the likes of tabletop gamers and collectible card game players like Magic the Gathering, Dungeons and Dragons, that while those groups were sociable, they were only sociable in their inside group. They weren't inherently doing getting a lot of social support from an outside group or adding to their in groups by much. Dungeons and Dragons players would be called nerds and freaks in the old days, and now that would be a kind of a silly accusation to even try and make. This one is proving to be very picky. Trying to get the angles right and increase the edges, which does seem like it is fighting that quite a bit. Maybe I should just go for color. I should just go for little clicks too. It's not, it doesn't feel too far from what we're going for. Yeah, it definitely just feels like, yeah, let's just forget it. This is almost certainly just going to be another area where we're not going to get 100% of it. But if that is the one morphic fractal, so there's one more matchbox it wants us to do at least. And 3 more sightseers it wants us to do at least. This is interesting. They have these towers of light highlighting them. But the towers of light would be my quest markers. Would they not? That symbol same as that symbol? No. Can I even hit that symbol? No. Well, we know that there's more than... No, there might be exactly 4 matchbox puzzles. Right, so we're looking for an edge that would have had a matchbox on it. So that's going to eliminate the possibilities. Okay. That is a different symbol than that. Wow, okay. Let's mark that one. At least we know where the red one is that matches that. That is going to be a difficult shot, though. To be able to hit that and way over there. We're gonna have to find a middle spot. I guess this is a good example of where having the sightseers enabled gives you something else to work on. Okay. I don't see any way you would ever possibly do these matchbox puzzles without multiple markers. It is just so helpful. Still not sure. Well, I do think that if I can hit the right button, that was the sightseeing one. Where did the sightseeing thing go? Apparently, in pressing all those buttons, I lost it and dropped it, which I don't know how I pressed X and held X to do that. So that this is just a matter of getting the angle correct. Which, one thing we should do here is, if we get rid of that marker is still there. So is the game giving me a hint at the quest marker, or is it telling me that there was a quest marker when the picture was taken? Would the quest marker be missing if I instead dropped it and went and picked it back up? Which, yeah, let's do that. Let's just entertain this quest for intelligence. Yeah, the marker is gone. So there is a specific spot in the game that has an invisible camera that you can just walk right through, and it takes a picture. The camera's just locked down in a certain angle, and it takes a picture whenever you pick up the sightseeing tour. And that specific spot is also the exact spot that one needs to stand at to get this to match. And see, at this point, once you get into the gold, I'd rather just click a bunch of times instead of actively try and line up the picture just out of laziness. No sightseer things go away. So I guess I've figured out how the sightseeing puzzles work. So that's interesting. I don't know if that's going to help me too much. This next one, it's pretty obvious where this is going to line up. Just over here. Need to be behind this tree. Go closer. Not quite. Can we do these puzzles? Second time. Have I done this one already? See, because the gold around this makes me think I've already done this. But I don't inherently remember doing one like this. So yeah, I guess I'm gonna assume that I already did that one. Otherwise I'm gonna waste too much time. Feels like I guess I'm supposed to be a bit further back. Maybe a bit further. I guess the question is, which tree is the right tree? Wow. I'm very far away from that. Did not need to go all the way up here. I'm not sure if there really is a block. Yeah. So we've got one over there. We've got one under here. Probably would help to just mark any red bricks. Now, we've done the green well enough that it wouldn't make sense to swap over. This one here matches the one that's down there. So I'm pretty sure that's the case. Yes. So if we can hit that, and we can hit that, that'd be great. We'd think get closer, it says. Okay. Get closer on a matchbox. Shoot herself up really high and land on this. Let's see if maybe that is the correct angle. I may have accidentally clicked on that. On the sphere. So I am high enough now. I'm too low now. So there's going to be another part to this. I must have to. Either I'm supposed to angle from this angle, which that doesn't make sense. Or I'm supposed to angle from a higher angle. Maybe you're supposed to just be like right there. Guess that is the case. Okay. Okay. Move that marker away. We have this green one. So either there has to be a red marker that we just totally missed in this area, or the green one is pointing to something else. That's it. Yeah, there's 2 remaining matchboxes, at least for the bonus. I see 3 spots that have been marked. There should be 4 spots that have been marked. So let's look around. Wouldn't be surprised if there's just one hidden in the forest here, behind a tree. This hasn't been an area that heavily encouraged searching in the edges and around. Which, yeah, that is understandable. It's also possible it could be up in the trees. So we should keep an eye in the foliage of the trees also. Could be on that high platform. Could be way up there. That's why you need to stand to match it. It's kind of pointless to even try to find the pivot point, though, where you can hit the 2 spots. If I don't know where the cube is in the first place. Is not pointing to anything. That was an errant marker. Guess this would have been the place we would have traveled to get up to that spot. So inherently now I think I have only 2 markers on the field. And this one's fairly limited into where you could have a cube. At this point I wouldn't mind a bit more of a logical challenge too. Let's check that out. That might be something just in the ground. Although it says get closer. It may just be a sphere. think there might be a cube over there. Yes, there is a cube over here, but it's one we've already solved. Yeah, from this angle, you can hit quite a lot of the map. If I could find where the cube is. And always, this could just go on forever. You could struggle for hours and hours and hours just trying to find the one hidden cube or the two hidden cubes. In the same way, I could struggle for hours and hours trying to do that last morphic fractal. There's apparently a sightseer also, so might be worth it to take the opportunity to just wander around looking for the last sightseer. We'll look in the edges and we'll look on the trees. See if we find anything. Matchboxes don't seem to make any noise. So I would suspect. And get up on that platform to get shot back up even higher. I'm not sure what the trick there is. There probably is a trick. So was this cube on the ground? No. It was just an orb. Could I hit? There's like a tree in the way of that. There's kind of a bush in the way of that. There's kind of a thing there. Let's look on the underside of these platforms. Just under everything. Not seeing anything so far. It's definitely a situation where it feels like you could have a whole nother area, just like a small lower floor. Somewhere. So kind of crouch down spot. Even would make sense. Let's just look through all the stone woodwork. Interesting. button hit the Windows key that time. Okay. Again, hit the Windows key. Doesn't seem like there's anything there. It does seem like there could have been something there. And that's enough to at least trigger an investigation on the other side. Controls. So those are visually blocked off. So where's the last sightseeing quest? Couldn't even hit it from that angle. I kind of don't believe that there's anything more in the center spot. Did find a sightseeing spot. It took me a long time to do that. My thought here is where would that really take me? Kind of doesn't feel like it takes me quite anywhere. Okay, I think we can figure that out. Meanwhile, let's get rid of the marker. Really, there's only one area where this can be. Maybe a couple areas where this can be. Looking for vines. But yeah, that's the only path like that. In the whole section, whole enclave. So yeah, it's just getting way closer. Okay, so 2 matchboxes, neither of which would make sense. to have a matchbox in this area. You could stand here and you can look in these general directions. That's kind of it. Let's take a little flight around the edge of the island. Wow, there is a hole under the building section. I almost feel like I may have accidentally glitched into this section though. And honestly, I don't know if this is going to help me in any way, because with the entire visuals like this, you can also see how, yeah, I think I glitched in here. You can see how like a lot of these columns have just been moved below the floor. They didn't want to remodel the 3D models and load into RAM two different versions of the 3D models, so instead they, when they wanted the shorter column, they just moved it lower, below the floor. And this was a glitch. This totally was a glitch. I was not supposed to get into this area. The rock that it was transparent and see-through that I entered on has now become solid. Yep, this was a transparent rock before. And like power jumping, it's just gonna hit my head, so just gonna have to say we're stuck. Which means we're going to have to fly all the way back. Which we also need to know we're going in the right direction. Those. So as we're flying back onto the island, was not anticipating getting stuck. I was potentially anticipating that I would fall to my death. The question is that part of that island? No. And why did the map just jump me? Apparently the map determined that I had already fallen to my death while I was in the map. Notice how I still call it falling to my death. You're not really going to break that mental connection. In video games, falling to your death or dying in general is just not that big of a deal. Unfortunately, What is going to be a bigger deal is just going back and forth between trying to do this puzzle, which I'm going to do it diagonal. Small steps diagonally. See if that works. Really not a lot to say when you've tried this multiple times already. So you have these little curves here. You want them to be something closer to that. See, like, there's two spots here. I'm really trying to focus just like on this little corner to get that to work. Really doesn't seem too far off from what it's supposed to be. And yet, something's still missing. Like, either this is so zoomed in, or the math is totally wrong. What if we were to do this? We have this whole encyclopedia thing. Let's see if we can maybe learn something, since we never really read any of these as far as morphic fractals. Drag the morph to morph the fractal until its shape matches the example. Okay. That's not that helpful. As far as morphic fractals insights, I don't know if we have any at all. No, it doesn't seem like we do. Now, and as far as mystery hints, we don't have anything. I don't think I have enough to buy anything. But at least I'm in the positive. Well, what if I was to just reset a whole bunch? See, now this also is wrong. It's way too many. A point here. Yeah. There's a point here where the math lines up. In 2 or 3 different spots. By doing the point where the math lines up in 2 or 3 spots. Yeah. So I just had like way too many red herrings. Way too many wrong possibilities that looked way too close to the right possibilities. What's that? Now leaves me completely trapped in finding just the matchboxes. There's nothing else. And see, you're seeing statues of humanoid characters, which in this game may not even make sense for those statues to be there. And again, it screams just a little asset flipping what has taken place. Just a little is not an accurate description, I'm sure. I think a lot of asset pre-purchased, pre-rendered assets have been used. Flipping is the wrong term though. Asset flips are something that generally are games that have done bare minimal efforts to actually make a video game. This is a proper video game. It would be silly to say otherwise. Okay. At least that put me somewhere different. Although I question if there's anything over here. And I would heavily suspect that this island is exclusively about lining up that circle and solving this mystery. I find it very weird if there was a matchbox on this island. Yeah, and I'm not seeing anything. That might be something. Although I think I've already been up there. Definitely can see from that angle this cube. There's no cubes in the trees. And I'm gonna assume that all the morphic fields have been done. If I found these two matchboxes, I'd be at exactly 30, which that too makes it feel like there's only 30 puzzles left in this area. I mean, only 2 puzzles left in this area. Guess we need to look around here. It really doesn't feel like there's anything here. You know, it might just be helpful to stand in some different places and look around. Again, I would really need an interactive map if I was going to need to cheat to find the locations of these matchboxes. I don't see any other way. I could try and type in a description. Looking for 1 red and 1 green. What about in a log? In a rock? Still, that definitely looks like that would be a skybox challenge you can do. Even crouching down is something I'm willing to consider. If I was going to crouch down. It's not inside the cube, is it? Kind of makes sense if it was hidden up in a tree. Maybe I've been looking too much up in the tree. Maybe I should look down on the ground. Is it possible that there's one just kind of like a corner of a wall? I suppose anything is possible. Yeah, part of the architecture was what I was thinking. Built right into the wall. I would have liked if the game had kind of confidently let you learn that that is not a possibility. You don't have to worry about it being incredibly sneaky, but kind of obviously has to be hidden really well. Either that or I'm just being incredibly dense. Yeah, I'm trying to think, if I was the game developer, where would I hide the cube? There's so many possibilities. Not a single one is screaming out as this has to be it. There's one there, so where we're going to take that bit of knowledge and apply it elsewhere. Let's see if there's any more up on the rim. Found it. That took forever. Certainly makes a lot of sense. That would be the solution. And that saves me actually quite a bit now, because I think there's no way you're gonna get that last box on the ground here. There's just no way you're gonna get an angle there. No, that doesn't mean much though, because the green box could be on the ground. You just have to find a middle spot. It does probably keep us on the back side because of the angle, though, that we're not going to need to be at the front of the whole map. So that saves me a little bit of searching. This game has decided to teleport me into some weird spots. Fear not, I will not let you fall. It says. Game is totally glitched. So twice now. I have had to say I'm stuck, and noticeably they have programmed it that if you say you're stuck too many times, it will teleport you to the pearl because you can be stuck on being stuck. Take a moment to take a breather. So many different ways this could all play out. Still. Forget that. So a high jump. I want to get you that high. Then that jump. Get you that high. Now we are looking for the green box. Is that it? No. Didn't think I was going to get that lucky. So it might be a case where that one I haven't been to, or I've been to it and I wasn't paying as much attention. Nope, it's actually this. I thought I had already solved that matchbox there, but I guess I had just marked it. And then in my confusion, weirdly, it says there are 3 puzzles left. Do I think for a second they are matchbox puzzles? No. Could I get gold on this? Doing that still is not putting me fast enough. If that is one of the 3 remaining puzzles. Yeah. Let's see, how many flow orbs were there? There were 6. So is it possible that the flow orbs going to gold are what are required to go to 100%? Or is it possible that there are probably not any matchboxes, for as much as we've been looking for matchboxes? Did we maybe miss 3 morphic fields? It's possible. Really don't remember doing this one. Want these to be wide and stretched out. Like that. No, I feel like I did do this because I just counted it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then I moved to add that many to it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you wanted something like that. Come on, come on, come on. What I should do before I do that, actually, come to think of it, would be to simply go and see if I can redo previous morphogenic ones. Okay, so I'm gonna just run this time and see if single jumps might be all that's needed. Okay. So I just got gold there. I didn't have gold before. It still says 3 are still available. So okay. Since that one says space to continue, and this one doesn't say space to continue, then I haven't solved this one before. Must have just solved something that was somewhat similar looking. I want these swirls to be less tight. I want these to be smaller. I think this is another example where there's multiple points in which this is all going to look correct. So this really is just going to come down to figuring it out, getting the colors right. Too far, I think, from it. Kinda close, feels like. So, you want this to still be smaller, though. Keep looking at these sections. I probably should just be looking more as far as the stretching goes. Just overstretch it to a very extreme amount, and then bring it back. Very far away at all from the way this feels. Weirdly though, I think this puzzle, these puzzles in particular, are much more based on actual mathematics, and so visually being close may not really factor in. To my eyes, it looks like perfect, but clearly missing something. can't help but think that the game just cheated in my favor there. So we know then that there are 2 more morphogenic field fractals, whatever they're called, around here somewhere. And if it's glowing, we should be able to assume that we've already done it, but it might be worth checking anyways. Even the game knows it's not worth it to let you play it a second time. I still have this feeling that the sky drop here should line up. No, there's just no way. Is it possible that we didn't even do the chase at the very top? Yeah, I guess that is possible. So we may need to just shoot ourselves up really high. And let's see, did we get bronze on this? Yes, we did. So that's not it. There's no secret platform or ledge. Did we do both of the puzzles that were down here? One on this face. Yes, we did that one. That one. Did that. There's a bit of a ledge here, so it's kind of difficult to get up there. Well, let's look at the map. There is a temple in the center of the central area. Maybe you're supposed to fly up to that. suppose it is possible that there is a sightseer challenge somewhere around here. Unless it is the sky drop thing. Which, yeah, I really wouldn't want to engage with doing this all over again. Inherently, yeah, you are going to... You would have to do this twice in a row for that to really work for you. And probably would want to make a whole path lined up so you know exactly where to run and where to go. For the most part, you would want to stay on the ground. Don't think this really is changing too much. While I'm doing this, I'm trying to think if there's possibly another angle or another location worth checking out. This is the really tight area, so if you learned just this section, you'd be in a pretty good spot. Clicking like crazy and still not locking in. It definitely feels like sometimes you could form a circle with some of these. Let's see, I think the quest was to do it in less than 200 seconds. So we've already taken 200 seconds. Honestly, there is this ability that you will unlock to warp. So at some point you might have a trick up your sleeve where you mark a bunch of spots to stand and either run to those spots or warp back to those spots. It's glowing, but it's struggling to lock in. actually to just put a bunch of markers. Might also be an order here that makes it easier or more difficult to solve these sky drops, in a sense that extra sky drop orbs might get in the way. Question also to ask here is, am I getting any extra points for doing this challenge a second time? Or am I simply wasting my time? Place some spots down here. As a way of seeing if we can cheat. I would have to considerably pick up the pace for this to work, though. I'm just moving way too slow. Keep anticipating that those would line up or something. Although, inherently, if I am placing spots, even that's not going to help me much because I still need to know which way to look. Now, I could certainly move to a spot and then just spin around in circles, trying to figure out which direction. I doubt I'm even going to get the silver at this point. The biggest of the rings should be the ones I should look for and try and use. That'll eliminate the most amount. Gives me extra skybox mastery, but it didn't give me any sparks, I don't believe. Yeah. We're still too short to even upgrade because of the glitch reducing things. So I guess if you wanted to just get your mastery up real high, you might do that. Okay. So the thought here was to stand in this spot and look around in a circle to see if we can find the sky orb. Yeah, none of them seem to be lining up. My guess is these are either randomly generated or there's at least enough of these that have been procedurally generated and pre-made that it can randomly select from that. So yeah, without the chromatic bonus, which doesn't seem to kick in here, you're just gonna have to get way better at sky drops and faster at moving and seeing them and clicking on them and lining them up. It's just going to be way too much. So we'll cancel that and you'll see all the orbs slowly shrink. And with that, we've gone 3 hours. I am willing to just assume that somewhere around here I have stupidly walked past 2 morphogenic puzzles over and over again. Without realizing that I hadn't solved them. Interesting. I think maybe there would be a matchbox there or something. But that's kind of all I can assume. The only other thing would be a scenic or a speed challenge, which I don't see a way that there really would have been a speed challenge. I do have this platform that kind of seems like it's encouraging you to fly in that direction towards nothing. It is fairly believable that there might be a speed challenge, but it says complete all 6 flow orbs as one of the bonuses, and we've already done that, so I think it would be inherently terrible labeling if it said all 6 and there was actually 7. There is a small possibility, I guess, that maybe somewhere on the edge of one of these, or on the edge of this big tower, yeah, all my instincts tell me it's probably something that's just like lying on the ground way high up. Or something that is just kind of weirdly around the corner in an area that would have been easy to miss. I thought maybe the back side of that one might have a different puzzle on it. That would be an intriguing twist, certainly, if it worked that way. It would be weird if there literally was one sky drop. Yeah, if anything, I think the sky drop challenge is designed to tell you that there are no other sky drops, and that sky drop, those sky drops there are not part of this area. Maybe there would be something around this. Doesn't look like it though. Yeah, I gotta say this one's throwing me through a loop, as we've been all over the place. I really doubt that there is another puzzle in this central section, considering that's seemingly exclusively for the sky drop challenge. You could look at every pillar just to make sure that there isn't a morphic puzzle like on the edge of these pillars. Which that is kind of believable that they would do something sneaky like that. Otherwise, I think I've given it a fair try, and there's plenty of other places where we have not gotten 100% of everything done. And this is just going to be yet another location like that, unfortunately. The fact that it's two is kind of annoying. One is tolerable. Two, not so much. So that's what happens when you hit a shielded section. Good to know. That was a decent experiment. You just get automatically teleported back. What would be worse than leaving having missed 2 puzzles is to have found a puzzle at this last second and felt the need to investigate it. So solve 5 interactive puzzles. Probably not grid puzzles, the puzzle boxes. It was probably let's see. Phasic tiles that I would be what I would guess would be an interactive puzzle. Or sentinels. You can hear an invisible box. There. You can see. Green cube there. Serene deluge needs to be the next thing we do. See, that's not considered an interactive puzzle either. Again, if in this central world, all these puzzles are kind of infinite, regardless of whether they are procedurally generated or pre-rendered. Kind of doesn't matter. Still, just doesn't feel like it's worth it to spend any real time on that. There's not a lot of room for movement here. I'm kind of just going in circles. Until I can get to that point. So that is an interactive puzzle. I pretty much figured that would be considered an interactive puzzle, considering how interactive it is. But yeah, I would struggle to find 2 more interactive puzzles. Where am I even going? It says travel to reflect in the sky pillar of insight. Solitary island is somewhere where we could go. Reflections in the sky. Okay. Yep. Is this considered an interactive puzzle? I would suspect not. Should I actively avoid getting sky drops if I see the sky drops? Or should I grab them anyways? There's a whole castle section here. That is a new puzzle type once again. Sometimes these sky drops feel like they're adding an occasional orb. To make a full ring. I don't think you're capable of hitting that one. You would need a higher angle. So yeah, that one feels a bit more challenging. These arcs still don't really, they are just a visual difference between, slightly different than rings. And so yeah, I would not, yeah, was not likely to have found 2 more interactive puzzles. I could probably find them if I was to simply fly around. Like if I went back way over to this area, then I could probably find an interactive puzzle, or even over here. It definitely seems doable if I looked at these quests and these trials. I imagine one of these might hint at being an interactive puzzle. But yeah, the daily quests aren't that important. So in this 3.5 hours, sorry about that episode, we entered Shady Wildwood. We did almost everything in Cloud of Pearls. As far as upgrades go, we have just barely enough to take this reward, so we'll take that reward because of the glitch that keeps putting us in the negative. As far as mastery goes, we customization outfit glove we could mess with, but I won't. We're still not anywhere as far as making any real progress on items and things like that, so yeah. Yeah, theoretically on this, we could be fairly close to the beginning of the third act, and frankly, we could even be fairly close to the end of the game, or my experience of the game at least. That would be a very abridged experience, certainly, because what I would say at that point is that I just was not interested at going back to, say, the previous areas and at least getting all the Mirablisses and at least trying to find all the mysteries by getting all the Mirablisses, which I'm not sure you actually need to do the Mirablisses to get the mystery hints. I think actually you need to do the Towers of Insights. So yeah, there is also a possibility that we could get one all-seeing monolith and find that it's not marking important puzzles on the map, and then if that was the case, that might lose some momentum for the game. We probably want to do all the trials and all the pillars of insight and all this all-seeing monolith side quests, but yeah, I don't know if there really is a finite number of puzzles in this game. I don't know if there's really going to be a final challenge. I don't know if there's going to be a way to actually see the credits outside of just clicking the credits in the menu. So we may very well have to just decide to end the game once I feel satisfied ending the game. Which there is, when you compare that to The Witness, there is a possibility that some people finish The Witness without really seeing everything there was to see in The Witness. And I think that would have been a mistake if you did not get all the way to the over 100% completion that it requires. Anyways, that's going to be it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and keep on watching. Thanks.